Dear students, today, as part of our paper Personality Development, we are going to discuss another topic entitled Communication. This title, Communication, forms the first topic of the fourth unit. So, in the fourth unit, communication has been divided into definition, importance of communication, process of communication, communication symbols, communication network, barriers in communication, overcoming communication barriers. So, you must now think that already we have elaborately discussed the nuances of negotiation. So, negotiation and communication can be distinguished on its part, basically on its difference that stand on the premise of being very oral. That is, negotiation is mainly focusing on speaking skills, but whereas communication comprehensively includes other forms also, such as writing, listening, and other forms of communications, like sending emails, sending text messages, so on and so forth. So, communication is a very broad topic in which negotiation skills is one element. So, communication deals also about media in its vastness. As we have already discussed many ideas in negotiation, I would like to give a broad picture about communication here, and what has been already discussed in negotiation and applicable for communication we are leaving behind. So, here communication is a term that has its origin from the Latin word communicare, meaning to share. So, you are sharing, that is, an idea has been shared. So, people tend to think when you begin to learn a language, you may tend to think that uh, elephant is a large animal and it must have a huge number of alphabets to express it. And when we take this as an example, a whale which lives in the sea is bigger than an elephant, but whale has only 5 alphabets to express that particular term, whereas elephant has more alphabets, I think some 9 alphabets. So, how this kind of communication variation develops, that nobody knows. So, however, we tend to develop a common pattern of sharing our ideas, not only ideas but also about our common environment. Therefore, communication includes the formation of communicative motivation or reason. So, what is the motivation behind communication? So, if somebody is in anger, so his kind of communication is different from a communication of a person who is in a kind of good mood. So, this is one form of communication, and another is message composition. So, message composition is more technically elaborate. Sometimes what happens is when people tend to speak something, you may not be able to understand the meaning fully, or you must have slipped your listening. But if a writing has been made and that particular writing is made in the common language, then that person who has received that communication might again and again read that particular communication and arrive at the purpose of on which the communication has been made. Nextly, it is message encoding. For example, we have digital data, written text, speech, pictures, gestures, and so on. So, these are being encoded. Nextly, it is transmission. Transmission of the encoded message as a sequence of signals using a specific channel or medium. So you may take for example even the traffic signals. A board has been fixed in which you have been advised not to cross roads when there is a red signal, or they even show that there is a railway line and railway line has been uh, laid without gates and you have to be careful. So and there are several types of communication transmission through which you are being uh, given some idea to react upon the particular transmission. Communication also includes reception of signals. So if you are saying that keep left in a traffic signal, it means that you have to go by the left when you use vehicles. So you have to cross or overtake a vehicle by its right. So the vehicle which is going will be going by the left, and if you want to overtake that, you have to go by its right, because this person who is driving that vehicle will always go by the left, and he will not leave that particular left side for other persons to overtake. So this communication has to be received by every person who is plying his vehicle in the road. So if somebody is misunderstanding that, then it will cause accidents. In India, predominantly uh, its population is based on right hand. Only a few people are left handers. So usually in vehicles we have the steering in the right side, unlike in the America where the steering is fixed in the left side. So driving from the right side, you have to maintain the left. In the countries like the United States of America and various European countries, it is straight the opposite. So when you shift from India to other countries, you have to accordingly shift your mind and receive communication accordingly. Or if you could not relocate your brain according to the need of the new system, then you will create an accident and it will cause a loss of a lot of trouble for everyone. Decoding of the communication is a very important process. So usually what people tend to say is you have to be very careful about even punctuation marks. So one particular offender of law has been awarded capital punishment, that is, he has to be hanged until death. So he applied for mercy petition and he is awaiting for the reply of the President of India or President of any other country for that matter. It is only an example. And what happens is the President says leave him, not hang him, and this communication has been passed by the telegraph department. And what happens is the comma has been dropped next to not, that is, leave him, not hang him. So they thought that the President has decided against this particular petition or the petitioner, and he has decided to hang this particular person, and they hanged. But it is a communication error in which this particular petitioner has become a victim. So decoding of communication is very important, and in fields like the defense department, this decoding of secret or crypto languages are being placed of higher importance. Communication has been elaborately discussed by academicians, that is academicians, and they have formulated various theories, and these theories are called information theory, which studies the quantification, storage, and communication of information in general. So we have communication studies also. So these days, people who want to work for media, such as print media or visual media, they go for specific training through courses in e communication or ma in communication, and so on and so forth. These days even BVOC, some kind of course has been offered by the government in order to develop ideas pertaining to communication in specific fields. We have another field called biosemiotics, in which the communication between living organisms in general has been specifically specialized. So when you give a particular communication to a dog or a cat, how it responds and what makes them to respond, and what kind of communication can be developed for their betterment, because we train dogs to identify terrorist activities in particular location, and also to decode criminal activities, and therefore this kind of communication between man and animals have become very important. So one example that can be cited here is an occurrence that took place in a zoo located in Sri Lanka. So on a particular day, these animals all, they went to a higher elevation and they took abode safely, and they also rose some kind of different sounds and noises, and many people, they were not able to sense what these kind of animals are trying to do and why they have taken a place of a higher altitude all of a sudden. So when everybody is in a confusion, to all of their surprise and shock, tsunami took place and it severely affected that particular zoo, and not even a single animal was affected by the activity of the sea, but large number of people, they died. So then they received this communication of these animals being intelligent to decode some kind of communication as part of its natural activity, and therefore such a communication has to be effectively uh, utilized, so that some undue occurrences can be easily handled. So apart from all these, we have also something called the biocommunication, which exemplifies sign mediated interactions in and between organisms of all domains of life, including viruses. So biocommunication, these days, when this COVID-19, its menace started striking the world, a kind of communication was given, that is particularly uh, America these days. It is telling that we underestimated the efficacy of this particular virus, and we did not express its full consequence. So in such a situation, what is most essential is a perfect communication between organisms of all domains, that includes virus. Some people even tend to say that the birth of new viruses is a warning to the human society for its going against the wave of nature, and therefore an effective communication with the nature has to be established. So organisms, the domain of organisms, etc., they hint at our essential requirement to communicate with nature and its requirements. So these are the main features that has been discussed as part of communication in our syllabus, and many of the ideas, such as communication networks, barriers in communication, etc., has been already discussed in our classes pertaining to negotiation. What has been discussed in previous classes, you use here also. With this, I conclude my lecture on the introductory of communication. Thank you very much.